Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chris Cuthbertson. I'm the Director of Aviation, Forest Fire, and Emergency Services with the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land on which we gather in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people, specifically Batchewana First Nation, Garden River First Nation, and the presence of the historic Sault Ste. Marie Métis Council. This area, known as Babating, has been a significant meeting place for Indigenous peoples for thousands of years, and we recognize the enduring presence and contributions of Indigenous communities to this region. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Sault Ste. Marie hangar with the Ministry of Natural Resources here in Sault Ste. Marie. This is one of our primary aviation hangars that supports wildland fire and natural resources work across the province from an aviation perspective. Today we are gathered for an exciting announcement, and with that, please join me in welcoming Ross Romano, Member of Provincial Parliament for Sault Ste. Marie.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everyone, for letting us come in to the office today to crash your Wednesday morning. Very happy to be here today, and I'm very happy to welcome Minister Graydon Smith to Sault Ste. Marie today. It's a pleasure being able to have you here in the community. It's a special time, historically speaking. If you go back 100 years. This is the 100-year anniversary of the Royal Canadian Air Service here in Sault Ste. Marie. And looking back at our history, I've often talked about Sault Ste. Marie and the benefits that we have as a community and why we are so integral and important to the overall landscape of this province and this country. And you go back 100 years ago, Sault Ste. Marie was the start of the fight against forest fires, if you will. It was the center of the Great Lakes. It is the center of the Great Lakes, obviously. And it's such a great place to be able to start this ministry work here in our community. And it's continued here for 100 years. And so I really want to thank you all who work here for everything that you're doing to help keep our community safe, trying to do everything we can to suppress, prevent, and reduce the incidence of forest fires throughout our region and throughout our communities. Obviously, last summer was a summer like no other. For maybe for you, you may all say, not a big difference, just a day in the life of. But for so many communities across this province, and I certainly know my own kids, I remember talking about it all summer, last summer, seeing the smoke in the air and having soccer games discontinued, canceled, so many other family functions that were turfed because of what was happening. And that was just that little bit that some people at home were seeing. Of course, you're seeing a completely different lens and all the other reek and the reek of havoc that was created by so many of these. So I think today's announcement is a positive one, and the government and certainly the work of Minister Smith has been really strongly dedicated towards trying to ensure that we're doing everything we can to be ready, doing everything we can as a province and certainly as a jurisdiction to ensure that we're prepared and we're doing all we can to prevent and educate also, obviously, in reducing the incidence of forest fires throughout our area. So I don't want to speak too much longer than I already have. For those of you who know me, you know, I generally tend to make it a rule to do that exactly. I'm going to stop that now and just simply say welcome, Minister Smith. It's been a pleasure having you here in the Sioux. We're really happy to have you. This is an absolutely essential spot for the MNRF here in Ontario, here in Sault Ste. Marie, and we're very proud of it. And I really want to thank all these great workers here today to join you, and I welcome you to say a few words now. Podium. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks so much, Ross. Just to say, it's great to be in the Sioux. Been here about 24 hours, seen a lot. It's been a real treat to be here this time of year because it is just so beautiful around here. It's an amazing part of Ontario. And it's fantastic to be here today too. And the trick for me is to not get distracted by A, the great staff that we have here, and B, the aircraft, because I'm a bit of an aerophile. So being surrounded by our fantastic CL-415s here gets me pretty excited. Excited because our wildland firefighting operations are incredibly important, both here in the Sioux and of course all across Ontario. And the work that's done here and across our province protects communities, properties, and our vital natural resources. And thankfully, this fire season hasn't been as intense as other years in Ontario, but that doesn't mean the work ever stops behind the scenes to keep the people of our province safe. So I'm here today to highlight the proactive steps our government is taking to ensure that we're ready for future wildland fire seasons. You know, before this fire season, we made investments to recognize the critical services of wildland firefighters and pilots, including creating over 100 additional permanent positions to build leadership and support career opportunities within our wildland fire program. We've improved access to benefits for Ontario's fire rangers, including eligibility for the same presumptive benefits all other firefighters and fire investigators are entitled to. And during this fire season, to enhance our aerial capacity, we've contracted 4 additional medium-sized helicopters, increasing our total to 13. These helicopters are being used to help with fire suppression and the movement of critical staff and equipment to and from the fire line. We've also added a fixed-wing aircraft for evacuating communities threatened by fires should the need arise. And as this fire season comes to a close, I want you to know that we'll continue investing in wildland fire management for the future. Ontario is partnering with the federal government to strengthen wildland fire preparedness, with each of us investing $32 million over 4 years for a total of $64 million to purchase equipment and provide training for personnel. Making investments between fire seasons is essential to building and maintaining an internationally recognized wildland firefighting program. And all the staff here today, I want to thank you all for your dedication and hard work in Ontario and throughout the country this year. You've been heroes in many different jurisdictions. You've made Ontario proud, Ontarians proud this season and every season. And I want you to know that we'll make sure you have what you need to answer the call for your province. Thank you very much, everyone. Again, my pleasure to be here today. Okay. So with that, I do have a special presentation. I know, as Ross mentioned, we're celebrating 100 years of aviation services here in the province. The Premier wasn't able to attend the last ceremony, but I do have a certificate from him that I wanted to present to Chris, and maybe there's an opportunity to get a whole bunch of us in a photo with this one. But I'll just read it out loud. It says, warm congratulations to the Ministry of Natural Resources, Aviation Services on the momentous occasion of your 100th